What's up, everyone? Hope you're having a great day. It is so good to be back, dive into a little bit more video content, and we're going to be talking about the only 3 prime lenses you will ever need for video. So in this video, I'm going to be talking more about the actual focal lengths. I'm not going to go into brands. I'm not going to recommend one brand over another, Canon over Sony or vice versa. I'm really just going to be talking about what you're getting from certain focal lengths and why they're necessary. Side note though, I do shoot on Sony. I am biased to an extent. I probably will make some small comments about these lenses and some ticks that they have, but for the most part, we're sticking to focal lengths here. So the 3 lenses are the 24mm, the 35mm, and the 50mm. First things first, the 24mm. This lens is perfect for B-roll, documentary, and more story-driven content. But I rarely ever use this lens for interview setups unless it's like a specialty situation. Shooting B-roll on a 24mm is very freeing. There's lots of flexibility with framing and composition, and with so many options, it kind of unlocks your creativity. Typically a 24mm is lighter in weight and smaller in size, so it fits well on a gimbal and it doesn't kill you to carry it all day. But then also shooting handheld with a 24mm, it's much more forgiving. With it being wider, to an extent, the camera shakes and movement are less noticeable. This is different than like shooting B-roll on a 50mm where you're much tighter on your subject or whatever you're filming, and all of your camera movements are much more noticeable. That being said, the 24mm is so good for documentary style work and also more story-driven content. It is perfect for getting your subject in their setting. It helps your audience really get in the shoes or get in the place of the subject, which will only further help impact the story that you're trying to tell. For this reason, I will always keep a 24mm with me. Next, the bad boy himself, the 35mm. The best way to describe this lens is a situational portrait lens. Now when I say that, you may be thinking, well, I described the last 24mm as a situational lens, but wider focal lengths aren't always flattering to subjects, and the 35mm is. And that makes this the most versatile and useful lens out of the 3 that I'm talking about today. I use it for absolutely everything. Anytime I'm running a client shoot that has interviews, it's gonna be my A-cam 90% of the time. And it is exceptionally good with all kinds of B-roll. With little effort using this lens, you can get wide, medium, tight shots of your subject. It's wide enough in most settings to where I don't need the 24, and it's also tight enough where I don't need a 50 or an 85. It's just wide enough to where I can get my subject in its setting and get enough context to where it adds to the story, it keeps it moving forward, and you can relate to what is on screen. Most shoots that I'm on, I'll use it as an A-cam for my interview. Then I'll start shooting B-roll with this lens, with the intention of most likely switching to another lens at some point. And then by the end of the day, I'll have gone the entire day shooting on this one single lens with no regrets, wishing that I had swapped lenses throughout the day. Finally, the 50mm. Now, I'm saying this knowing that there may be some disagreements, especially with the people who like and enjoy shooting at 85mm or beyond that. So let me explain myself, and then we can talk about that. This is an excellent B camera lens for interviews. It gives you an extremely pleasing view of your subject. It is also incredible for B-roll of specifics and detail shots. And this copy is the Sony 1.2 G Master. With that shallow depth of field, I'm really able to isolate my subject, draw the audience's attention into specific details, or help make them feel certain emotions. Now, for the years that I've done this, I've found that the 85mm is too tight in the majority of situations. And so the 50 kind of hits that sweet spot. This is my 85mm 1.8. Don't get me wrong, some of my favorite shots that I've ever shot have been with this lens. But at the time, I did not own the 50mm. Had I owned the 50mm that I do now in the same situation, I would have shot with the 50. Now, I'm not gonna tell you to buy one thing over another, but I will say, looking back, I would have bought the 50 over the 85 and then possibly never would have needed to purchase the 85, because since I've had the 50mm, I have not used the 85 at all. And now going into any shoot or situation that I know I'm gonna need something with a little more reach, I'll just end up renting a 70-200, a 200-600, and then all my bases are covered. Now, this is the one time where I will make a suggestion. If you are looking to purchase one prime lens, get the 35mm. Like I said, it is the most versatile lens that you could possibly want, and you can probably shoot the majority of everything that you will ever need with this lens. All right, we've done another one. Thank you for watching. If you don't agree with me, put a comment below. Let me know which lenses you think are optimal for video shootings, which primes are best for a videographer, cinematographer, whoever to have. I would love to know why you think certain lenses are better than others, certain combination of lenses are better. Or if you don't agree that the 35mm is the one lens that someone should own, tell me why. I'd love to hear why. I'll get back to you and I'll answer you. Let me say this, it really does mean the world that you watch these videos. Just from the few videos that I've put on here, I've had more feedback and comments and interactions that I've ever had doing anything like this. It's more fulfilling than any other social thing that I've done, and I really do feel like I'm connecting with people. I'm learning stuff from people, and I'm getting to share something with you all. So here's to you. Thanks again. I'll see you soon.